Alright guys, I had someone send me a message over to my YouTube account, and basically what he said was that he went to the gun store and he wanted to buy an HK. Well, he was new to guns and he really didn't understand the concept of why there was a hammer on an HK. And I think he said he went ahead and bought an XD because he wanted an HK, but he couldn't figure out what the hammer was for and how it worked on a semi-auto, and the guy at the gun store wasn't much help to him. So what I'm going to do in this video is I am going to explain and compare the actions of some different guns here. We're going to talk single action, double action revolver, single action, double action semi-auto, a single action 1911, and a striker fired pistol. And maybe this will help some guys that are new to guns and better explain things to you, so if you do want to get one of these HKs, you understand what the hammer's for and how that it works. Okay, first I'll start with the revolver. All guns on this table are unloaded. They were checked before I turned the camera on. Okay, now, as you all know, revolver is single action, double action. Okay, now I'm going to show you a double action pull on the revolver. Now I'm going to show you a single action pull on the revolver. This is called double action because the trigger performs two jobs when you do it like this. It cocks and fires the hammer. Double action. It performs two actions. Single action is this. The trigger now will only perform one action. It will just fire the gun. Okay? Now, on the HKs, what I want you to do is think of this HK as a semi-auto version of the revolver that I just showed you. Once this gun is loaded and has one in the chamber, you can either start by pulling back the hammer and having a lighter single action pull, or you can pull the trigger with the hammer dropped and have a double action pull where the trigger cocks and fires the hammer, releases it, cocks and releases it, okay? Don't worry about the safety. I know this is different from a revolver in several ways, and this has the safety and decocker, but don't worry about that right yet, okay? If you now watch the see the trigger on this gun, watch what happens to the trigger as I manually cock the hammer. See how it goes back? Now you're going to have that light single action pull. With this type of pull, it's going to be easier to keep your sights on target, because the lighter the trigger pull, the less tendency you have to pull the gun when it goes off, when the trigger breaks on target, okay? You just got this little light pull. Okay, now with the trigger all the way forward, you have a full, about a 10-pound pull right there. Cocks the hammer and releases it. Okay, very much like the revolver. Watch the trigger in the revolver as I cock the hammer manually. See it go back? Now you have that light pull on the revolver. Now with the trigger fully forward, now you have the full pull. Okay, so same concept here. You can start like that when you fire this gun after you chamber a round, or you can start with the hammer down like that and do the full pull. Okay, now we'll talk about the safety lever on the HK. This safety lever is used for a couple of different things. When the gun is cocked, like after you chamber a round, you can flip the safety up. Once that safety is flipped up, you cannot fire this gun. You can carry it cocked and locked like a 1911. Now when you want to fire this gun, or if you're carrying it for self-defense, you would draw the gun, flip the lever down, one click. Now you can fire the gun. Okay? Now the second thing this lever is for, say you just chambered around, you put in a magazine, you chambered around in this HK. Now your hammer's back. And maybe you're going to carry this gun today, and you don't want to carry it cocked and locked, or you're at the range and you're not ready to shoot yet. Well, all that you would do is take this lever, push it downward, and this drops the hammer. Now, this will not fire the gun. I repeat, this will not fire the gun, even with a round in the chamber. I'm going to show you, hopefully it picks it up on camera. There is a block in here, a steel block, and what it does is it blocks the hammer. It only lets the hammer fall forward to a certain point. This hammer cannot touch the firing pin. You can see the firing pin in there if the lighting's right close to the camera. You can see the firing pin in there. Okay, now watch when I hit the decocker on this gun where this hammer falls to. See? See how there's a little gap there? Now watch when I pull the trigger and I let the hammer drop all the way down to the firing pin, and notice the difference. See how much further the hammer's inside the gun? Okay? So when you decock this gun, no matter where the round is in the magazine, in the chamber, this gun will not fire. Demonstrate it again. See the gap right here? This hammer came nowhere near touching that firing pin in there, I assure you. I chamber these guns all the time and send the hammer down using the decocker, and it does not touch the firing pin. Okay, now if I was to pull the trigger and let the hammer seat fully, like if I was going to fire the gun like that, now you can see how much further the hammer's in there, because now the hammer just struck the firing pin, which is what the gun's designed to do. It's what it's supposed to do. Okay, so I hope that sheds some light for you on a semi-auto that also has a hammer on the back of it. Okay, now on to the 1911 platform. Okay. Okay. By the way, guys, this is my Rock Island Armory Compact 1911. I have not done a review on it yet. If you guys want to see a review just on this gun and what I think about it, let me know in the comments and I'll get a review up for you. Okay, when you get to a 1911 platform, a 1911 is single action only. The trigger is only going to perform one action. The hammer is cocked. You pull the trigger, one action. It released the hammer. There is no way to fire this gun with the hammer down. It is impossible to fire this gun with this hammer down. Nothing you can do. The hammer has to be back. Okay? Now you have about a 3.5 pound pull. Okay? And just for some of you guys that know these guns, this gun does have some modifications to it. And if I do a review, I'll explain them to you in the review. But yeah, so basically if you were at the range with a 1911, what you would do is you would put in a fully loaded magazine. You would rack the slide. Your hammer would already be back for you. And then you can start to fire the gun. Now if you were going to carry a 1911, you don't want to carry it like this because there's nothing you can do with it like this. If you want, if you want to have it quick and ready to go, if you were to carry this gun, this is how you would carry it. Let me take the magazine out just for... Okay, now you just chambered around and you're going to carry this gun. Now what you would do is you would take the thumb safety, and this one's for a right-handed shooter, but you take your thumb safety and you'd flip it up. Now there is no way to fire this gun. Thumb safety's on. Okay? So even if you were at the range or you're going to carry and you weren't going to fire for a minute, but you just loaded the gun and chambered one, you flip your thumb safety on, and now the gun's ready to fire. You just withdraw the gun, sweep the safety down, and then you can go. Okay, so that's how a 1911 single action only semi-auto works. Okay, now when we get to Glocks, we're talking about a internal striker-fired firearm. Okay, and what that means is there is no exposed hammer or lever. Everything is internal on the inside. Now here's where me and some guys differ, and I'm not talking about just YouTube guys. I'm talking about some guys that are supposed to know their stuff, and gun magazine writers and all this other stuff. This is where me and a lot of guys differ. Some feel the same way as me. There are guys that call the Glock a double action only gun. I'm going to explain to you what double action only is here in a minute. I don't consider this a double action only gun, and I'll tell you why. Right now, with the trigger forward, this gun is partially cocked. As you, one more time, as you pull the trigger and the trigger breaks, it continues to cock the gun, and then it releases the striker, which comes forward and hits the primer in the round. Now the gun is fully uncocked with the trigger back. Okay. So I don't consider this Glock a double action only. Some guys call it that, and there's probably just as many that say that it's not, like me. But I don't consider this double action only because it is in a partially cocked state as it sits. I'm not going to get into that right now. I could do a video on that. I would actually tear the gun apart and show you and explain to you how this gun is in a semi-partially cocked state as it sits right here with the trigger forward. That's another video for another day. Okay, now let's talk about a double action only semi-auto pistol. Now, I do not prefer a double action only semi-auto pistol. Some of you guys do, and that's fine. Don't think just because I don't prefer it that it's not any good, because that's not... you know what, guys? There are tons of different guns, and there are tons of different people with different tastes. I would never criticize you for what you prefer. And don't think that what I prefer is the only thing that you can use. There's several different options out there that you can go with, and that's why there's hundreds, if not thousands, of gun makers, because everybody likes something different. I'm just, I'm giving you guys help on the knowledge that I have, hoping I can help some people. Okay, but a double action only pistol would be a pistol that you cannot cock the hammer on. Okay? Just trying to reiterate safety, guys, over and over again for these new guys. Okay? For these new shooters. If I show you how to be safe enough times, maybe it'll stick. And that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, a double action only pistol would mean that you take this pistol and you're going to fire it. The hammer always remains down. There is no clicking the hammer back and it stays. To fire this gun, you have the full pull every single time you pull the trigger. Even when the gun racks another round into the chamber as you fire, the hammer falls forward, comes forward as the slide goes forward, and you have to do the full pull every time you shoot. That's going to give you a heavier trigger pull, and if you train with that gun platform enough, you could be great with it. You could do a competition with it, I guess, if you wanted. But I don't prefer it, because I prefer to be able to have a lighter trigger pull, like this, if I want to. Just have that little click, Another thing I want to mention before I forget, speaking of these hammers. Now, you take this gun to the range and you fire this gun. Okay, let me take the magazine out so I can show you something. Now let's say there's an actual live round in this gun and I'm going to fire it. Let's just pretend. Okay, but we're going to do it in slow motion. Now I'm firing the gun, okay, The hammer falls. Okay, now in slow motion, the firing pin hit the primer and the round comes out of the muzzle. As the round's coming out of the muzzle, the pressure is forcing the slide back faster than you can see with your naked eye. And now the slide is coming forward. It's grabbing another round off the magazine. It's stripping another round out of the magazine. It's pushing it forward into the chamber. See this? The gun cocks the hammer for you. Each time it's fired, the slide comes back, strips another round out of the magazine, pushes it forward with the extractor in front of the lip of the round, puts it into the barrel, and your hammer is cocked again. So even if you start firing this gun with the hammer down using the full pull, once this gun goes off, bang, round's coming out of the muzzle, the force is cocking the gun for you, bringing another round, putting it into the chamber. Now in your second shot, you're always going to have the single action lighter pull. Hope this is making sense to you. Now if this gun were DAO, double action only, no matter what you do and no matter when this gun fires, every time this slide goes back and comes forward, chambers another round, the hammer is also going to come forward with the gun and fall, just like this. Watch the hammer. See how it's going forward and falling? Every time you fire this gun, it's going to do that. If I were firing this gun right now and it was a double action only, which it is not, this hammer would fall forward every time you fired a round. As the slide comes forward and puts another round into your chamber, strips it out of the magazine, your hammer is going to follow right with it and be down inside the slide like that, and you're going to have a full pull. That's a DAO, double action only, semi-auto. I like DASA, or SADA, single action, double action, which is what this is. I really hope this video is, guys, there's a lot of times that I get a question and I'll do a video like this just to help one person out. I really do like to share what I can help you with. I don't know everything, and I don't claim to know everything. And some of these guys on YouTube, I'm being told, are blocking people if people correct them. Feel free to correct me if I make a mistake. Like, I know there's sometimes I'll make a little mistake. You don't need to correct me. Like if I pick this gun up and I say pull the trigger back when I meant to say hammer, that's just me making a mistake because I'm sitting in front of the camera and I'm trying to think of 10 different things while I'm doing the video. Or I go to pull the trigger and I say pull the hammer. Something silly like that. It's just me making a little mistake. But if I were to tell you that this Rock Island Armory 1911 is a double action, single action gun, you need to go to the comments and say, hey, I know that that's wrong, what you said about that 1911. There has been a couple of times in my videos that I said something and I was wrong, and somebody told me, and I did some research and I sent them a private message and said, hey, you were right. I'll know next time, thank you. So don't feel that you have to worry about what you put on my comments or on my channel. I'm not going to block you. I don't know everything. I'm only human. And believe it or not, humans for targets on occasion gets things wrong with guns. I try not to though, guys. I'm just being silly here. But I try to make sure it's very important for me to tell you guys exactly the way something works, because it could be, in my mind, it could be dangerous if I'm talking to a new shooter and he's going to go get a gun tomorrow and he's not familiar with guns, and I tell him something wrong about a gun. That's something that when you're dealing with guns, I consider very important. So if it's something that I don't know too much about, I like to do my research before I get on camera. But this stuff here, this is just basic. Basic everyday stuff. Most of you guys already know and probably fell asleep by now. So if I help put you to sleep, you can go ahead and thank me in the morning, because this is probably a boring video. But this is just, I'm just doing some stuff now, guys, geared toward new shooters and new viewers. My goal is I would like to see everyone in America have the basic fundamental gun safety rules down pat. Pick up a gun with your finger not in the trigger guard. Keep your muzzle pointed in a safe direction. Be sure of your backstop and what's behind it. Treat every gun as if it were loaded. I don't like the rule that says every gun is loaded, because that's a false rule. None of these guns on this table are loaded. But you know what? I can tell you to treat each of these guns like they are loaded. So you pick one up, you look at it, okay, well, right now I'm treating this gun like it was loaded. It could be fully loaded with one in the chamber, hammer back, no safety on. And guess what? I can handle this gun here on this table all day, and it won't go off. Okay? Now when I do this, it goes off. But treat every gun as if it were loaded. I don't have many subscribers. You know, I'm just a little channel on YouTube, and I have fun, and all of you guys have been great. I love conversating with you guys. I just wanted to make a point, too. When I get private messages or comments, if I respond back and my comment is kind of quick and to the point, don't think that I don't care about your questions. I get so many comments and messages now that I try to get through them all in the most efficient way possible. And like I said, I'm still just a small channel on YouTube, but I do get my share of comments and questions. So if when I leave you, when I send you back a message, or if I leave you a comment back, and it's kind of quick and to the point, don't take it the wrong way, okay? And feel free to ask me any questions you want, as much as you want. And I try to answer everybody. You know, if I don't answer your question, send it again, because maybe I didn't get it. Okay, enough about that. I know you're all getting bored. So yeah, we got a striker-fired pistol. The firing pin is internal. I don't call it a double action only. It's a the gun is semi-cocked right now. Single action, 1911. Double action, single action pistol, HK, and a double action, single action revolver. I hope this helps you to better understand, you know, what this hammer is for on a pistol. Yeah, I felt kind of bad, you know, when I got that message from, I feel bad, I can't remember his name. But I got that message from the guy. He said, I went to a gun store to get an HK, and he said, I just couldn't grasp the concept of why there was a hammer and how this gun worked having a hammer. He said, so I went with a different gun. And I felt bad, and I just got this message, I believe, today, and I wanted to hurry up and get a video out and, you know, just explain, and I hope I've explained everything to the best of my ability. Okay, guys, I had fun once again. Love talking guns with all of you. I literally love this hobby. Just being able to get on here and talk guns with other people, share experiences and what I know. If you want to see a review on this, let me know, and I'll get one up and let you know what I think about this, okay? Till next time, guys, this is Humans for Targets, and I'm out.